can tell you, having listened to that recording, he does not at all mention anything about terrorism, nor does he mention anything about hate. It is the outcry of a very challenged young man talking about challenges in his personal life.
Alright, this shit is ridiculous. No angel, thug, combative, career criminal, disrespectful. Were these terms used to describe evil white criminals who massacred their fellow Americans, or were these terms used to describe unarmed black men and children who were killed at the hands of police? Wait, hold on, what about these terms? Troubled child, nerdy, quiet boy, unemployed kid, clean-cut American, boy with dry-witted humour. So what about those terms? Were they used to describe white terrorists or black victims? The answer is, of course you already know what the fucking answer is, because this is the United States of America, the only country in the world where you can carry out 5 explosions, killing 2 people, and still be given the benefit of the doubt and depicted in a sympathetic light. As long as you're white, of course. But if you happen to be black and have your life taken unjustly, you will be scrutinized, vilified, and have your name dragged through the dirt. It has been merely 48 hours since Mark Condit blew himself up after being tracked down by law enforcement, and, as we have come to expect in this country, the humanization of a man who blew 2 black Americans to pieces has been gut-churningly despicable. From law enforcement choosing to highlight
challenged young man,
to a full New York Times article portraying the Austin bomber as a quiet, nerdy, godly young man, we have seen whiteness at work on steroids. And not only that, some conservative mouthpieces, take a wild guess who, took to Twitter to give the voice to the real victims in this act of terror. Wait for it, Christians. That's right, our resident hypocrite Tammy made sure to skip her usual thoughts and prayers for the actual victims who died at the hands of this monster, and instead posted an article discussing how Christianity was the real victim. This coming from the same person who has built a career fear-mongering against all Muslims whenever an Islamist extremist commits an act of terror. But this all falls in line with the same deflecting, humanizing and downplaying of the evil actions of a troubled young man. A troubled young white man, that is. So I ask, where was the stern defense of a young man like Trayvon Martin, who, by the way, did not try to blow anyone up? In fact, all he wanted to do was walk home, but God forbid he put his hood up, right? For that, he was lambasted as a disrespectful thug by many of those in the media, who then offered an actual terrorist a pass. I can't believe this has to be clarified. But I guess we'll save the best juxtaposition for last, shall we? It so happened that on the same day a white suicide bomber decided to take his own life, 2 Sacramento police officers opted to take the life of 22-year-old Stephen Clark, firing a mere 20 shots at him in his own grandmother's backyard. Cops said they mistook Clark's cell phone for a gun, and then later a crowbar. I mean, I'm no tech expert here, but I've never seen a crowbar that looks even remotely like an iPhone, have you? But, nonetheless, having both these stories circulate at the same time was a perfect example of whiteness at work. On the one hand, we had headlines reading, "Robbery suspect gunned down," and on the other hand, we heard, "Nerdy young man." Wake up! The way this country continues to humanize white evil and vilify black victims shows how far we have to go in not only fixing the engraved racial bias that still dictates the perception of people in this country and in the media, but in truly understanding the threat white terror poses to us. And to do that, we have to condemn it with the same furiosity it deserves, not wrap it in privilege. Follow me on Instagram at Francis M. Maxwell and on Twitter at Francis M. Maxwell. Please like and share this video. Leave your comments. I will be interacting, and as always, continue to resist.